Ce truc qui vient de se produire pourrait changer ma vie. Pourquoi se limiter à un seul endroit quand on peut avoir le monde entier?
Je crois qu'il y a quelque chose que tu ne me dis pas.
Pour tout pouvoir...
One of the reasons why I chose to do Jumper and said, you know, this is a film that I should direct is because you are starting with, you know, an amoral superhero. You're starting with somebody whose first instinct is to rob banks. I said, you know what? If I do this film, I'm not going to change him. And any, you know, most other filmmakers would, you know, have him follow a kind of generic arc where by the end he becomes a hero. And I was like, I'm going to go the other way. So like the first thing I did to the screenplay when I got involved was have him not go save the flood victims. I mean, the flood victims didn't even exist in the screenplay, but and then had him go to London and pick up a girl. And I was like, okay, and how else can he use the power sort of for more scoundrel things? And how far can I push it the other way?
C'était quoi ton idée? Lui proposer un petit pique-nique en amoureux? Une gentille petite dînette? Tu crois que ça va se passer comme ça?
Si jamais tu la regardes de travers...
Tu feras quoi? Tu vas me jumper à la gueule?
And a lot of times what happens with filmmakers, and especially in Hollywood, is the moment you either make a realistic movie or you make a fake movie. And those are the two genres that exist in Hollywood. And okay, that kind of amnesia doesn't exist, and it involves spies, and it's like, okay, that falls in the unrealistic category. And therefore, anything goes, because it's not real. Or, you know, it's a drama like Go that takes place in the real world, and you follow all the real rules. And I was curious when I set out to do Born and then did it again with Jumper of, okay, well, what if you just take one detail that's unrealistic, like Jason Bourne's amnesia or like David Rice's ability to teleport, and then do everything else real. And just say, like, just because you use one movie device doesn't mean that that all logic goes out the window.
N'importe qui peut voler une banque. Ce que j'aimerais savoir, c'est comment on peut le faire sans ouvrir de porte.
Cette conversation est terminée.
Cette conversation n'est pas terminée. Tant que tu n'auras pas répondu à mes questions.
I kind of violated a sacred no-no in Hollywood, or, you know, at least a personal no-no, but I think it's you know, two people who have acted opposite each other in another movie, you tend to not cast them. It's just sort of a no-no. They were in a movie together, don't do it. But obviously I've made a career of not following rules, and I felt like the Hayden Christensen that I was going for in Jumper was in no way going to be evocative of his performance in the Star Wars films. That it was going to be I was casting the Hayden Christensen from a small film called Shattered Glass, and I was going to be reinventing him, and this was going to be a Hayden Christensen like you'd never seen before.
Vous pensiez que ça durerait éternellement? Que vivre comme ça n'aurait pas de conséquences? Il y a toujours des conséquences.
It's a superhero that was created today. It's not a superhero from a comic book from 60 years ago when maybe the world, you know, it had a Hitler and it was a very clear, like, good versus evil, and, you know, we don't live in that kind of world today. I don't know if the United States are liberators or occupiers in Iraq. You know, things are much more complex. Obviously this is like a big popcorn movie, and I have personal issues of, you know, I live in New York City, I should be doing like smaller, more important, issue-driven movies, but the teenage boy in me just sort of falls in love with the spectacle of these things, and I just can't help it. But then the whole time I'm sort of fraught with guilt, and I'm always trying to, like, just make it as intellectual as I possibly can. And so in the case of this movie, I was like, okay, it's going to be a big popcorn film, but not only am I not going to have a villain with Sam Jackson, I'm going to I'm going to explore issues of conflict, put conflict in this movie the way I see it in the world.
Aspire à fond.
Jumper.